Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. The Kangaroos are 9-0. 2 games clear on the top of the ladder. There are a few cynics out there, Nathan. I think you're among them, but the Roos have been ripping form.
It was
and a big win
definitely
last night
you, Hutchie, Del Sano. Robbie Tarrant is in all-Australian form. Zeba was fantastic again last night. Goldstein kicked 3 goals, all in the third quarter. For the Blues, Gibbs was okay. Doherty was probably their best last night, but we're very fortunate to have the North Melbourne coach with us, Brad Scott. And Brad, welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. A great performance last night, a good answer after last week's second half fade-out.
Yeah, it was. We were pretty keen to put 4 quarters together, and last week we probably toyed with our side a little bit, which made it a bit difficult for our guys in the second half, especially after losing one. But the players were really disappointed. They didn't use selection and the team balance as an excuse, and they were keen to respond, and they did. I
thought you were clinical in the middle. It started obviously with Goldstein, but how clean you were in the centre of the ground just allowed you to get so many balls out of that middle straight onto the chest of a teammate inside 50 makes life a lot easier. But, I mean, you train that, it's always hard to put it into practice.
Yeah, it is, and you can have all the set plays in the world, but there's an opposition out there trying to stop you, and Carlton implemented some things to try and arrest the dominance Goldie and the midfielders had in the centre square, and the guys were able to adjust really well, so we hope we've got multiple avenues to goal through centre clearances.
We're going to have a look at some highlights of Big Goldie soon. It must be great to have a bloke. He's at the peak of his powers, isn't it? It must be great to have him just... And the ability for him to play long periods of the game without needing a rest, which a lot of ruckmen can't.
Yeah, he really thrives on workload, and we played him forward a bit last night too, and he went forward and looked dangerous. So, he's able to play really high minutes, really worked on his marking, as you can see there, and he's having a terrific season and gives our midfielders first use.
It was a small risk to get Jared Wade in when he had so many injuries, so many concerns, but he has repaid that faith tenfold at the moment, playing some great football. He was good again last night without kicking a big bag, and he works so well with Ben Brown. And I'll tell you what, Ben Brown isn't far away from kicking a big bag himself.
Yeah, look, Brownie plays a really important role for us. He's obviously a good forward, but rucks as well for us and gives us really good balance through there. But Wadey's so flexible. I mean, he's got elite endurance and elite speed, and you can see from the vision there just how solid his hands are. So, we thought there was a specific role for him to come in and play for us, and he's doing it really well.
Brad, in the last 2 years, you've been a good side, but there was always doubts whether you could hold a monster forward, or Franklin got hold of you, I think, in one of the prelims 2 years ago and things like that. But now it looks like your team defence all over the ground looks better than I've ever seen it before. Is that an adjustment that you've made over the off-season? It's just players being more experienced? What do you think it is? Or do you agree with that?
Oh, no, I agree. Yeah. I mean, we certainly had things to work on defensively, and that is all over the ground. But, look, the emergence of Robbie Tarrant and having him available has meant that Scott Thompson, Michael Ferrito don't have to play, way undersized. So that's really helped us, and some of the pressure on upfield really helps the defenders too.
Great story, Boomer. Like, he looks destined, well, he is destined to break the record in about 7-8 weeks. And his form looks like it's held up as comparable, at least in the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm sure every year you probably question whether it's one to go on. It's not insurmountable he could go for another year after this, do you think? Or will it depend on how you go at the back end of this year?
Oh, I think it's really difficult to make predictions about Boomer. When I first started I was appointed at the end of 2009. I thought how fantastic it's going to be to coach Brent Harvey for a couple of years, and still coaching him now, and who knows for how much longer. So, as we always do at the end of the season, we'll make decisions based on how he's feeling, and I've always said to him he can play as long as he wants to, provided that he holds up his end of the bargain.
3 goals to 500 too. Yeah. He kicked 497 goals, and then another 14 goes past John Longmire, which is unbelievable.
When you subbed him, was it last year or the year before? Was it around his defensive efforts? Because there was 2 chases last night from Boomer Harvey, which I hadn't really seen before. I thought it was phenomenal, his efforts last night.
Yeah, he's really focused on that. And look, we have some pretty clear responsibilities for our veteran players. We hold our veterans to a higher account than we do our young players. And he's leading the way with all that sort of stuff. And the sub rule, he was probably a little disappointed it went out this year because he thought he could play for another 3 or 4. Well, he only did it once.
But those chases last night, they seemed to shock you in the box, didn't they? We got some vision of you here. Here we go, maybe.
Come on, Bill.
There we go, look at that. Look at Boomer go. Great work, Boomer. Crikey. No, that was a deliberate out of bounds. That one did surprise you, fair to say, Brad.
You need some new material. I mean, how many times on footy shows can you show that?
Oh, we could show you, brother.
Are you a fan of the deliberate out of bounds and the rush
No,
behind?
he's not.
I think you're aware of my views on that, Hutchie. Look, I think that the intention of the player to keep the ball in has been a really good alteration to the rules this year. I think in the spirit of the law, it's fantastic. I'm just concerned about how hard it is for umpires to get inside the player's head and try and work out what he's doing. But I think maybe the rule, the name of the rule needs to change because it's not deliberate anymore. It's did you try and keep it in? You know, I think a lot of players kick the ball down the line and they're not trying to kick it out of bounds, but it goes out of bounds and it gets paid against them. And if that's the rule, that's fine. But I don't think it's deliberate.
And you support going to the points as well? Is it the same, like for like, do you think, or different? We saw a contentious one last night in Subi.
Yeah, I think you still get a point. And the opposition still gets a point, so I mean, I'm not sure you should get
Did you
7.
get a memo?
We did, yes. Yeah, we did. So
From Luke?
From Luke, and Mark, I think.
Mark.
Oh,
It was just Mark.
Yeah.
But it was, look, it was pretty clear, and we were pretty sure that one was going to get paid throughout the round. We just wanted to make sure it wasn't against us.
Nash?
Always tough to do the analysis when the coach is in the house as well. But we talked about their defence, and it's always hard to keep a structure in the way the footy's played these days with so many players up the ground. But North Melbourne do it really well when they kick inside their forward 50. Always got targets, and then their defensive aspect comes after that. I want to show you 3 highlights from last night. Have a look at Zeebel's kick in here. But when we stop it, there are 7 North Melbourne players getting to the front and centre of this. They know that when they get to the middle, they're going to go long because they've got the big targets. But then they've got players who crash in. They win this footy back as it's delivered out of bounds. This is the next one. They know they've got some targets down there. Then the cavalry comes to try and keep the ball in. Boomer nearly kicks a goal on that occasion. But again, from the centre, sometimes this works out that you kick and you hit them lace out. But still, 3 or 4 players are going to get to the front. And it's going to be hard for Carlton if this ball comes to ground level to take it out the other way. They do it really well. And that's the man right there.
Oh, what do you think? Be honest.
Oh, I think he could coach, couldn't he?
Yeah. Use those on Tuesday.
I think you might have got your edits. Is what might happen.
And Daniel Wellesby, how's he going? Of course, the Achilles, but it's the other leg.
Yeah, it is. It's the he had a problem with an Achilles last year, but this is the other leg.
Yeah.
We think it's fairly minor, but you can still see here he's kicking pretty good. But no, we think he's a good chance to play next week. But I think for our members and supporters, I think they can understand that we're going to be ultra cautious to make sure that he's absolutely right because we don't want him in one week and then sore the next. So we won't play him until he's perfect.
No,
Did you expect in your wildest dreams you could be 9-0? And you look a bit, not tentative, but mindful that you're running into the big 6 weeks now where you're really going to work out whether you're the bona fide contender or one of many.
Yeah, well, I mean, we firstly wanted to focus on making sure that we started the year better than we have in the past. So as a coach and a playing group, you look, pretty much at the here and now. So we got over Adelaide round 1, that was really important, and then it's just been focusing on little blocks coming up. And look, our main focus now is on 12 wins. I mean, historically, when you win 12, you play finals, and we're not looking any further than that. So to get to 12, we've got to get to 10 first, and that's our aim this week against Sydney.
Let's have a look at the votes from last night, and I thought Goldstein was the best player on the ground. Robbie Tarrant, unbelievable season. I'm sure Matty Lloyd's got him in his All-Australian team. Zeebel was very good, and we've spoken about Boomer Harvey as well, so all Kangaroos there.
How's your golf, Scotty?
Non-existent, Bill.
Well,
Yeah,
you've got a new driver, mate. There we are.
Well, that might bring me back.
Callaway XR16 driver, the best in the business. You'll be hitting them 300, 350 metres. The Uncle Jack watch for you, Scotty. There, unclejackwatches.com, Australian-made gift pack. The Rode microphones accessory. It's on your iPhone there, you can use that. Tradie undies. Oh, some new undies for you, Scotty. You'll look good in the lounge room with these on, my friend. The ultimate toolbox. There they are there. Bar fridges from barfridgesaustralia.com. Get on there and have a look at the website. Some magnificent bar fridges there. A Home Timber and Hardware $100 gift card. Go where the tradies go. $100 good food gift card there. Any restaurant in Australia, or hundreds of restaurants in Australia there. Chemist Warehouse. It's mayhem at Chemist Warehouse. And all the big brands, vitamins are there. What are you laughing at, Scotty? And Krilla shoes and clothing. $250 there for shoes, clothing. You got it all. All for you, Scotty.
Bit of a croaky voice there from Bill. A few frothies last night. And I flew home last Saturday morning with your brother Chris after the Adelaide win, and he said you were going to be celebrating your 40th birthdays together last Saturday night.
Happy birthday.
Can you wind? Did you wind back the clock, you two? And have a big one or not? Can you do that anymore?
We had a good time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We had some of our best mates from the school days all get together, but all these things are dictated by the fixture. So
Yeah.
Geelong played Friday night, we played the early Saturday game. So Saturday night was enjoyable.
Well, it's nice, good 40th birthday, 1 and 2. Not too bad at the moment. Well done. Thanks for joining us on the Sunday Footy Show.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Brad Scott.